What if I told you that you could change your hair density just with styling? Same hair, two completely different shapes. This is your ultimate guide to volume. Let's start with the most important thing, and that's your haircut. This is the #1 thing that will either make or completely break your volume potential. One of the biggest mistakes I see is adding too many layers or too much texturizing into fine hair. You may think that adding a lot of layers will give you more volume on top, and although that can be somewhat true in certain situations, when your hair is fine, heavy layering will take too much density out of the baseline and make your hair look thinner overall. What you actually want in a haircut for your hair to look fuller is built-in structure that gives your hair shape with the illusion of thickness at the baseline. So let me show you what I mean. So take my haircut, which is a blunt bob, as an example. That one strong line along the bottom instantly gives the illusion that the hair is denser and heavier than it actually is. The shorter and the blunter the baseline is, the thicker your hair will look overall. So getting a blunt bob is one of the easiest ways to fake thicker looking hair without adding a single product or knowing much about styling at all. That's why I always go back to it time and time again. If you prefer a bit more length around your face, but you like this blunt, heavy vibe, you can go for an angled lob that is slightly shorter in the back and longer in the front. That shape actually naturally lifts the crown up, which gives you a bit more root volume and roundness there. And those longer front pieces can frame your face beautifully and make you feel like your hair is longer than it actually is. It's a nice alternative to the blunt bob because it still gives you that same density illusion, but it's a little less extreme of a haircut. If you don't like one layered cuts for whatever reason, or you have longer hair, layers can still totally work for you, but you just need the right kind of layers and they need to be placed in the right way. The trick is really keeping them very soft and very minimal. A few subtle layers like around the crown, around the face can add movement and bounce without removing all of that fullness at the ends. I can't stress enough how important this is because your haircut will set the stage for everything else that you do, everything that you're gonna learn in this video. If it's really balanced and structured, you won't have to fight for volume because it's already built into the foundation like a push-up bra. And once that foundation is right, then all the styling tricks will actually start to work for you. So if you're confused, don't be, because all you need to do is tell your hairstylist this: I want a strong perimeter with just enough layering for framing and movement, with no thinning and no heavy texturizing. Every stylist will know what you mean when you explain it in this way, and then how long or short you go will just be up to you. But just remember again that the shorter and the blunter your hair, the thicker it's going to look to the eye. The second thing we need to talk about is prep, because you can have the best haircut in the whole world, but if your roots are way down before you even pick up a blow dryer, it's just game over for volume. Volume actually starts in the shower. If you have fine hair, your scalp and your roots need to be super clean and lightweight. Heavy conditioners, oils, moisturizing, repairing shampoos, those can feel really amazing. And I understand why people gravitate towards them, but they coat the hair and make it nearly impossible to lift or to keep that lift throughout the day. So it's not really the best thing for you if you have fine hair and you're seeking volume. If you're seeking smooth, straight, glossy, great, go for it. But if you're seeking volume, like as much volume as possible, those are not the products to reach for on this day. Start with a volumizing shampoo, something that cleanses without overly stripping. You'd actually be surprised how much invisible buildup can sit at the root, even when you don't know it's there. So consider using a scalp scrub or even a clarifying shampoo once a week, especially if you're struggling with maintaining volume. When it comes to conditioner, keep it strictly on your mid-lengths to ends. You can see here in these clips that on my right side, I'm doing everything the way that I do when I want volume, and on my left side, I'm making all of the volume collapsing mistakes. After towel drying, then you'll want to apply a root lifting spray or mousse, working section by section from the temples up. If you want a little extra lift, you can then take a volumizing mousse and apply it through your mids and ends. Before you begin blow drying, I also suggest spraying some type of lightweight heat protectant over everything just to minimize your risk of heat damage. One that I am really loving for fine hair right now is this one by living proof, but I'll leave everything linked in the description box for you as I always do. Once your prep is done, the magic really happens in, and you guys are gonna know what I'm gonna say if you've been here for a while, all of the magic happens in the blowout. Even with the right products, if you blow dry your hair without any volume techniques, and then you go straight in with a flat iron, your hair will still be flat. I put volume products on both sides in this demo, on the do side and the don't side, in order to show you how true this really is, okay? I get so many questions about the best products for volume, and don't get me wrong, volume products are great. They're a great thing to have, but products alone don't create volume. Building volume in fine hair is kind of like baking a cake. You can have all the right ingredients, but if you just put them in a bowl and you walk away, a cake isn't gonna just like magically appear, right? Your prep products are the ingredients, but you still have to go through the process of actually making the cake. This is how you make the cake. So start by sectioning your hair and working from the bottom up. When you blow dry, direction is absolutely everything. Every time you pull the brush straight down, you're flattening the root. But if you lift the section up and away from your head, even just 45 degrees, you're training it to stand taller. That small change completely transforms the results. Once you work through the section and get it 100% dry, don't drop it right away. Let it cool while it's in a lifted position. You can do that by either clipping it up, you can wrap it around Velcro rollers, I've done videos on that, or you can just use your cool shot button on your blow dryer, which is what I did today. Hair sets its memory as it cools, so this extra step is actually what keeps your volume from collapsing an hour later. If your blowout always looks really good right in the moment, but then it quickly collapses and goes flat again, you may be missing this crucial step of cooling the hair down in the lifted position so that when you release it, it's set and ready to hold that shape for the rest of the day. The blow dry is 95% of the voluminous results, and that is why I made 2 different videos about it. In this video, I teach you how to blow out your hair with a blowout brush, and in this video, I teach you how to get the same results but with a blow dryer and a round brush, which all of you guys have. So if you're still confused on this step and you need more guidance, you want something that's more in depth, I definitely suggest watching those videos next, and I'll pin them in the pinned comment for you. Now that you know how to get volume, let's talk about where to put it, because not all volume is created equally. The placement of lift makes just as much of an impact as the amount of lift that you get. Too much volume in the wrong place can actually make your hair look very dated, or it can even throw off the balance of your face shape. For most people, the most flattering volume sits right at the crown, right in here, and on the upper sides. That will elongate the face slightly and give you that soft, very lifted shape that looks effortless. But if you have a longer face, go easy on the crown volume and actually build more volume through the sides instead, right around the temples or even around the cheekbones. That will bring the eye outward instead of upward and give a more balanced, youthful silhouette. I always tell my volume obsessed clients that you want shape, but not helmet hair. When volume is placed intentionally, it frames your face and enhances your features. It looks really modern, but when it's random, it just looks big and out of balance. And I'm sure you know, if you know, you know. So a great way to check your balance is just to take a photo of yourself from the side, from the front. If all your height is sitting in one spot, it will stand out in the photo right away. The goal is for your hair to look like it naturally belongs there, like it's voluminous, but it's naturally voluminous, not like you have to work so hard to get it. The finishing step is all about holding lift without stiffness. If you have fine hair that's actually truly fine, you don't want to rely on heavy hairsprays. I know it's shocking. This is something that took me many years to figure out, styling thousands of people's hair. The reason that you don't want to rely on heavy hairspray is because it will flatten your texture faster than anything, because the weight of it is going to be too heavy for your hair. So instead, you want to think in terms of grip and memory and less in terms of hold. And the thing that's going to give you grip and memory is not hairspray, it's texture spray. Texture spray is the fine haired girl's very best friend. What you'll want to do is actually mist it from underneath the hair, right at the roots through the mids, and then gently lift with your fingers to shape it. I guarantee you this type of spray will make your hair feel much thicker, but it's not going to make it feel so product-y. If you want even more hold at the root, then you can also reach for a volume powder. If you haven't heard of this before, it's a very interesting concept. You just tap a tiny amount along your crown or part line, wherever you want volume. You let it sit for a second, and then you massage it in with your fingertips. The powder creates instant friction and lift, and the best part is that you can revive it hours later just by scrunching your roots again. Now, if you want to take things up a notch even more, this is where the Volume Rooty comes in. This is truly one of my favorite tools for fine or flat hair because it gives you a foundation of lift that absolutely no product can match. All you have to do is clamp it right at the root underneath your top layer, and it creates this subtle micro crimp that pushes the hair up from underneath. You don't actually see it, especially when the top layer of hair is over it, but it builds a scaffolding underneath that holds everything in place until you wash your hair next. So it lasts for multiple days. This tool is honestly life-changing for people who love volume, but can't seem to maintain it throughout the whole entire day. If your hair flattens really quickly, you are going to absolutely love the Volume Rooty. It completely solves that problem. It's a genius tool, and I use it every single time I style my hair now. It's one of my favorite hot tools I've ever owned. Up next on the channel, learn how shifting your part line can completely change the way your face looks for the better. I'll see you over there.